welcome to Backstage with Gallery Theater. I'm Debbie Harmon Ferry. I'm one of the hosts for this program. Carolyn McCloskey and I trade off. This is just something we're trying to do right now to let folks get a little more acquainted with some of the people who participate at Gallery. And we're calling it Backstage at Gallery because you get a little insight into what it is that people do, how they do it, maybe why they do it. So tonight, I am thrilled because I don't have one guest, I have 4 guests. We're actually interviewing the entire Weisz family. And I like to think that Gallery is a great place for families, and we have a perfect example of that. So welcome, Weisz family.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Would you be willing to take a turn and maybe each introduce yourselves?
I am Cassidy, and I work at Hillside, and I am on the board of Gallery.
I'm Hannah, and I'm an 8th grader at Dunaway.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm a biology professor at Linfield University.
And I'm Ben. I guess I'm now ninth grade.
You are now
Ninth grade
Ninth
at
grade.
Mac High.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Fantastic. Sure appreciate your being here. Okay, so I guess my first question is, your whole family is involved in one way or another at Gallery, but not all in the same ways. So maybe could you tell me a little bit, each of you, about, maybe we should start the other way. Maybe Ben, you should go first this time. How about that? So tell me a little bit about what kinds of things you enjoy doing, or that you, maybe you don't enjoy them. What kinds of things you do at Gallery?
I do tech at Gallery. That's what I enjoy doing.
What kind
And
of
tech includes what? What kinds of things would be
I've
included?
done a lot of things. I've done mics before. Mostly do mics. I've done some things with sound design and effects, and I've done some lights too.
Thank you. Jeremy, you said you were a professor, and did you say you were a theater professor?
I am a biologist.
How about that? Fantastic.
As far as you can get from theater, yes. I do not act, but I enjoy doing stage crew and things like that. So backstage kinds of things.
Okay. And that includes things like moving set pieces, or what sort of things would be involved there?
So moving set pieces around. I've been an assistant stage manager, so that means I'm sort of down on the stage in charge of making sure that all the things and all the people get to where they're supposed to be at the right times.
Terrific. Thank you.
And pretty much whatever anybody else needs backstage.
Super. Hannah?
So I'm the one who does act and go on stage, and so it's honestly a lot of everything. Like, there's so much that goes on, but I think it's really fun to just go out there and put in all this work to put on an amazing show.
Super. And Cassidy, how about you?
I do more of the behind the scenes things. So I serve wine, or do concessions, or usher, or house manage, all those kind of things.
Wonderful. And you also mentioned in your intro that you're on the board.
I am on the board.
How long have you been doing that?
This will be my 2nd year. So yeah.
Super. So that's one of the things I think I really do appreciate about Gallery, and I hope your family does as well, is none of you do the exact same things. You all participate, but each of you sort of in your own way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in fairness, I guess I should point out, I think it's neat that we have 2 generations here who get to participate, but truthfully, I think it's 3 generations of your family, because Cassidy, isn't it true that your folks have done some things as well?
My father volunteers because he says that if it's a place that his grandchildren have a community, he wants to make sure that it stays around for them.
I love that. That's wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, I know he's helped us out a few times. It's great. He's also good at building. I think when we got the new seats, he was part of the crew that helped either take out the old ones or put in the new ones or something like that.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
So, okay, my big question now is, you all now participate in one way or another, but who drug you into this in the first place? Anybody want to fess up?
This is all Hannah's fault.
Great. So when was that? Maybe how long ago? What was the production, and how did you first get connected to the theater?
So, 5 years ago, 4 years
4 years
ago,
ago.
4 years ago, I auditioned for A Christmas Story. I tried to drag Ben into it, but I couldn't do it, and so I ended up auditioning for that, and I got cast in the ensemble as a school kid, and that's really where it started. And I got Ben into doing it, and he came in with mics, and then in a couple years, he started doing Backstage, and they've been volunteering, kind of dragged everyone into it.
It happens that way, doesn't it? You just start slowly, and the next thing you know, we've got you all in there, huh? Clever on our part.
Yes.
So Hannah, how old were you then the first time that you participated or tried out at Gallery?
I believe I was 8 when
And-
I auditioned. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And you've done a number of things since, is that right?
Yeah, I had last December was my 4th show.
Neat. So almost one a year.
Pretty much,
Yeah,
yeah.
about, yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever done a show where your entire family has been participating? I think so.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
Beauty
Yeah,
and
we
the
should.
Beast,
Beauty and the
we
Beast
all-
sort of.
Yeah, and Beauty and the Beast, Ben did tech, and he did
Stage crew.
Your stage crew. You're on stage.
You were on the board.
And volunteering.
And volunteering
for everything,
yeah.
For lots of house management stuff, yeah.
Everywhere, yeah.
So,
Everywhere, yeah.
yes.
Great. Wonderful. It does take a village, and half the village is living in your house. That's great, huh? Easy to carpool that way.
Exactly, yes.
How about, who wants to tackle this? I'll give you, maybe you can take turns. So those of you that don't have an answer right away can think for a second. What is your favorite part about participating at Gallery, in whatever that looks like for you?
So-
You
I
go
want
first.
to.
I'll go first.
Go
So
first.
I think it's important. What's wonderful about it is that every single one of us has can all be part of the gallery community, gallery family. We all are very different, and so it's really great that the kids found something where they're both so different from each other, and they both have something where they both feel important, and they both feel like they're part of something bigger than what they're doing. And so I think that that's really awesome that all of us have that here.
Did my answer?
Because I was the one who came up with it first.
I came up with that spotlight. Should I go next then?
Yes,
Yes,
so
go.
continue on to this.
As you're saying, I like being a respected and important part of the team that makes these shows, and I like I like being part of these shows and actually having a important piece of it.
Yeah.
Do anything you want to say?
I mean, it's mostly on the same lines. I like how inclusive everyone is, and whether you're new or you've come back, you still get to know everyone super well, and you get this whole other family during a show.
Nice.
And I will say, I agree with all of that. And the other part of it for me is that, I mean, we've gone to theater, as an audience member for years and years and years. And I've always loved the magic of the theater. Now we all get to be part of creating that magic, and
Yes.
and get to see how it works, and to help make that work, and see the audience reactions is
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
awesome.
wonderful. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. I think I share some of the things you love as well. I mean, for me, I look at some of the things people do, like the sets, and I think I could never do that. I mean, I can help, I can paint my little corner, but I don't have a vision. I can't build those things, but I can do this little piece over here. And when you put all those little pieces together, it makes something amazing. And so I think that's kind of what you're getting at there too.
Definitely. Yeah.
Wonderful. I always said it's a great place for our kids to participate, because we always know where they are in the evenings. Don't have to worry that they're out carousing at night, because we know
Sure.
they're in the theater Friday, Saturday nights. Takes a lot of time. How about that? How do you balance that? I mean, I know you guys have jobs. The kids obviously have a lot of workload with school. How do you make it all work?
don't.
We do.
We do.
I mean, I've generally, when we're at rehearsal, I always do my homework there, and I do a lot of other things outside of gallery. So I do dance and gymnastics and all of this other stuff that I just have to manage and make sure I'm not doing too much, and I still have time to not be stressed. Yeah.
So it takes a lot of planning to make it all work. Like, okay, we have this 20-minute block. We can all get food, and we have this block. This is when they can do their homework.
Yeah.
This is, this block is when I can, grade papers or something. Whatever we all need to do, we can get done. But you have to, like, be committed and realize that you don't get time to do other things. That's school and work and the theater.
Yeah. For this month, this is the priority, and next
Exactly.
month we'll do something else.
Exactly.
Yeah. It sounds like, though, those are some good skills that the kids are maybe learning at relatively young ages about teamwork and time management and organization and some of those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
sometimes we're successful and sometimes we're not.
It looks like you're doing okay so far. I'm
You are.
impressed, I'll tell you that.
It's a learning experience either way. So.
How about that? Like, in terms of what you're able to learn, either the kids or the adults, what kinds of things have you learned from your involvement with the theater?
Do you want to tackle that one first?
No.
Okay.
Nice try.
Yes.
First again.
Yeah. I don't know. Are there things you've learned?
I mean, I've learned to value how hard everyone works. Like, when you see a show, you don't realize or see all the little pieces backstage. Like, one of the things I love is when I'm backstage and I see everyone moving around, trying to be quiet and trying to move set pieces to where they go, and getting everyone in costume and getting everything done, but the audience doesn't know it, and that's really magical.
Yeah.
How about, Ben, what about any tech skills? Did you already come knowing those, or were those things that you kind of learned on the job?
I've learned a lot of things from every job. I learned a new thing. No, I did not go into tech knowing anything about it, about what I was getting myself into, but yeah, every job I learned something new.
And how, since you didn't come already having had that experience or already knowing a lot about maybe the mics or the lighting, how did you pick up those skills? Did you watch YouTube videos? Did people teach them to you? How do you learn that stuff?
Well, I picked up stuff as I went through the shows. I got lots of people who would help me and teach me throughout. Some stuff I figured out my own. Yeah.
Kids camp. You learned
Kids
during
camp.
kids camp.
Yeah, I learned most of my light. I learned anything I know about lights through kids camp from Sammy. Yeah.
And Sammy was, Sammy Whitmore, I think is who you're mentioning. And she kind of came up in the ranks like you guys. She started as a younger kid, and she was a camper, and then she learned from somebody a little bit older than her, and then she's passing it down. So that's neat to see kind of the next generation coming up.
Yeah.
Could be you in a couple of years, Ben. How about, what do you find maybe challenging about participating at the theater?
I mean, I would just say time. The time commitment is definitely a challenge. I mean, we talked about that already, but it's definitely like, you're all in. So that month of the show run, like, you're eating, breathing, sleeping theater and nothing else. And I think we love doing it, but it's a lot.
And I think it also depends on the show. Like, musicals, I personally think take a lot more work because you have to make sure you're memorizing all the dancing and your lines and the singing and everything, and that's just a lot more to focus on. But you eventually get it all done. So yeah, you find time for it.
Good.
Yeah.
And I know being on the board can be challenging, Cassidy, so there's lots of different things that come up there, like trying to keep an arts organization alive during a pandemic. Hey.
Yes.
Challenging in a different way.
Different way.
Yeah.
Now,
But when you're, yeah, go ahead.
not one that I knew that I was signing up for, you know?
Exactly. But when you're successful, it's going to be so exciting.
Exactly.
What tips or advice or words of encouragement would you give to other folks out there, either school age kids or families that are kind of thinking about maybe getting involved at gallery, but nervous about it or unsure?
Go for it. I mean, at some point you have to realize that if it's something that you think you might want to do, just try it. And you do it once and you don't like it, you know, you don't have to do it again. But you do it once and you do like it, then you make time for it and you just go for it.
I also think another thing that we talk about, I know when we talk about like robotics and stuff, that there's a lot more than just for theater, being on the stage, being an actor. There's a lot of things you can do, and to keep that in mind when you're looking at something, if you want to become part of the theater and what you want to do.
That's great. I actually remember that because when you first came to camp, I think you did do more on stage stuff, but you quickly learned that's not where your passion lie. And so we found other ways. And once we figured it out, it was like, oh man, he's a tech whiz. This is a great place to use your skills.
Yeah. I guess my advice would sort of follow along with that. Like, there is something there that everybody would enjoy doing. So it's like, if you like the theater at all, there's something that needs to be done that you have the skills for and the interest in, and so go for it. And everyone is always super supportive. So, you know, ask and and take an opportunity.
Nice. How about tell me a little bit about how easy or hard is it to meet the people there at gallery and friendships? Do you feel like that's something that comes easily? Is it harder if you're a young person, or do you feel like that was a pretty easy thing to do? How's that?
Well, I mean, it depends on the show, for one. Like, if there's a lot of kids in the show, it's generally easier to find someone that you have something in common with, something else in common with other than theater. But I mean, it also depends on your personality. Like, you know, sometimes it's easier to find someone that you just kind of connect with and become friends with it, and sometimes it's harder. But I feel like in the end, you realize that these are people that you enjoy hanging out with, and you have common interests, and you just.
Yeah.
I think she's probably underselling that a little bit. And I mean, they both, you know, have friends at gallery. They both have people they look forward to seeing at gallery. You know, that's probably true for all four of us, that like, we know that when we walk into that building that, you know, there's gonna be other people there that we want to spend time with. So, and none of us are really all that social people. So that's saying a lot. If the Weisses are making friends.
I always like it's one of the neat things for me to find people who you wouldn't necessarily think would be automatic friends. Like maybe they're very different ages, or they don't have a lot. You know, Jeremy, I consider you a good friend. You're a biology guy. I know nothing about science. You know, the fact that we can connect at the theater and find some commonalities that maybe on the surface aren't as obvious. I think it's one of the neat things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I do know that, you know, it's my family has also another family that spends some time at the theater, and the Ewings, who Carolyn interviewed Adam Ewing already. She's one of our Backstage with gallery. But I think of other folks like Sarah Carey came because she wanted to act on stage and drug her father along, and the next thing you know, he was doing lights. So some similar stories here that through the years, we've had a lot of different families come through, and we are so grateful for you guys, for all you bring to the theater. I love that you do very different things, but it takes all of you and all of those parts to make it work. I hope you know how appreciated you are. Is there anything else you would want to say tonight that you didn't get a chance to?
We hope we get to do more shows. We're anxious to get back to gallery.
Yes, we miss everyone, and we miss the community, and so we want to be back there as soon as it's feasible.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, we hope the same. So right now, we're not going to see you at the theater. We're going to see you online here in our social media channels, but we will hope that some months from now, we are all hanging out together again, making great theater, making magic as a family, as a gallery family. So thank you so much for your time and for sharing with us. And we'll look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Weisz family. Thank
Bye.
you.